here to my left with Wellington Cepeda. Wellington, you played in IONA. Talk to me about your experience up there and how you got to play in IONA.
Yeah, I did. I played in Iona, 30 years plus ago. So, no, great experience. I played there 2 years only because I have some elbow surgery. But I recovered from that, and then I, signed later on as a free agent. And after 5 minor league season, I became a coach. But it was awesome, great experience. Loved the campus. Loved the school, so I had a great experience there in Iona.
Well, do you think that with the weather, the reason that a lot of the guys from New York City don't get signed, don't get drafted is because of the weather and because of such a short schedule that they have in college?
I think so. I think that costs us a lot. Costs me. You don't play year-round like people do down south. When it's warm, people play all year round. They play baseball, and it helps out. Helps them develop their arm and stay in shape. And here we don't do that. Short season too. There's not as many scouts. The weather killed us every time. We had a lot of rain out, a lot of snow out. So that's probably the reason why. But down south you got more scouts around, and the weather permits you to play more baseball and develop yourself.
Now, how hard was it for you to get drafted? I mean, you must have been throwing bullets day in and day out.
No, like I said, I stopped playing baseball my second year, my sophomore year, but I was still 19. I was still a young puppy. Then I went down to the Dominican and signed as a free agent like 6 months later after I went down. But I wasn't really throwing as hard, but I did develop more arm speed and all that and threw a little harder. So I was more of a finesse guy. I used to throw to both sides of the plate and knew how to read swings. So I knew how to read what hitters were trying to do, so I used to take that into my advantage. So, but then I developed a changeup and became a better pitcher.
Now, you think that if you wouldn't have gone to the Dominican Republic, you probably would have been back, in New York?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just, it's a shame because a lot of players that play Division I, Division II, if they were Dominicans, they probably...
Yeah, they probably do that. Again, like I came out of school again when I was 19 because I had arm surgery. And then I decided when I recovered to go back to the Dominican and give it a try. And then I worked out a lot. I lost weight. I put my arm in shape and did some trials for different teams. And, the D-backs took a chance on me in 96 and I signed as a free agent. So really happy and glad that they did. And, 6 years after that, I became a coach. And here I am in the big league for 5 years now.
Now, Wellington, you know what? One of the hardest things for a baseball player is to retire at such a young age because you always think you got it. Was that difficult for you making the transition from being a player to a manager at such a young age?
No, it wasn't difficult. I know it's tough to get to the big leagues. I mean, I experienced it. To sign, it took me a while, and then I experienced it as a player. I got all the way up to AA, but every year I was moving up the ladder, the players were getting better. And when I talked to the team that I was working with, playing for, the D-backs, they were the one because I was bilingual. I was the guy that all the line people used to follow.
Had a good attitude.
Yeah, great attitude. And the bilingual player, mostly the Dominican guy, they follow my steps. So they say, you know what, someday when you're done playing, it could be 10, 15 years from now, I think you could become a good coach. So that's when I decided at the end of that year, when I was in AA, they sent me back down to A-ball. At the end of the year there in August, I decided to make the transition to become a coach, and I think it was the best decision I ever made.
Now, when you, as a manager, have to tell a young kid ball player, look, man, we might have to let you go. You're not going to play, and you got to go through all the policies. How tough is that on a man-to-man level to tell that to such a young age kid? Because they're making a lot more money than, when you were playing.
Yeah, it is tough, but it is what it is, and I just got to be honest. You just got to try to be honest with them and let them know, what's going on and what we think of him. But at the same time, I keep them up and make sure that they continue to play. If that's their dream, they continue to play it and try it with another team. But it is tough. It is tough telling another guy, because I went through it kind of, so I know how you feel. So telling a guy, a young kid, especially coming out of maybe Dominican or Venezuela or Puerto Rico or any other country, that they're done playing with a team, is tough. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do and let them know.
Larry Holmes, heavyweight champion of the world, told me that retiring from the sport is so tough because that's the only thing that you're great at. You know, so you got to start all over again. But thank God that you were able to make that great adjustment.
Yeah, again, like I said, it's tough now that you don't play, but at the same time, I'm still at the field, which I love. I'm still coaching, which I probably love more now than when I played. You know, the best thrill that you get is when you get a guy, young kid, at a young age, and you see him develop, and 5, 6 years later, they get to the big leagues and they still call you and thanks you for all the things that you help them out with. It's a great feeling. So.
Now, Wellington, listen. One of the things, the hiccups that I have right now with baseball is that they're not developing the talent the way back in the day and they used to. They bring them up real quick and they throw, but they throw and they're not pitching. And I think that that's one of the reasons why they're getting so much injury, because they're just throwing. So, would you agree, or you got to?
You know what? It's still tough to say that, but if you ask me right now, that you are asking me right now, I'd probably say so. I know people right now are just trying to throw hard. And that's probably one of the reasons. I know other people say the clock could be a thing too. I don't even know about that, but it's maybe because people are training for that, just to throw hard. Maybe that's the reason why. The arm are not.
Well, I don't think the arm was meant to throw
meant
over.
To,
you know, like I tell people, I say, look, man, we've gone from the high 90s to like a low 100s,
yeah.
but it hasn't gone up to like 105, 110, 120.
I know.
I don't think the arm is made for that.
The arm was not meant to throw that hard. So doing things overhand is not meant to do that. So that's probably the reason why a lot of people are probably.
Now, I know you got to go, but listen, I want you to tell me, you being such a young guy, how did these young guys adapt so quick when things aren't going so well? What do you tell a pitcher when he's getting rocked in the first inning to make an adjustment? And that's my thing. How do you tell them that when they haven't gotten that in the minors?
First of all, I'm a positive person, so the main thing is to keep guys positive. When you talk to them about things that you do right, he's going to feel good about himself, and he's going to go out there and perform for the following inning or the following game. So I always try to keep the positive first, and then of course I will mention the negative and try to make adjustment throughout during the game, or maybe for the next outing that they do. But being positive for me is the main thing.
Wellington, listen, man, you're a class act, brother. Thanks a lot for your time and courtesy, brother, and I hope you get the big call one day to match the victory.
All right, appreciate it, man, and thanks a lot.
Yo soy Joanny y yo quiero que ustedes se suscriban a la China de la